Now that Justin Fields is on the field, he's not going to leave the field even when Andy Dalton comes back healthy. Tua Tagovailoa, rib injury. Further testing yesterday showed that it's just going to end up being a pain tolerance issue. He doesn't have cracked or fractured ribs in Miami. Carson Wentz has 2 bad ankles, sprained ankles in Indianapolis. Tyrod Taylor is going to miss several weeks with a hamstring issue, and Andy Dalton's knee did not look great as he left that game, and it's the Justin Fields show. And I think we all know now that Justin Fields is on the field, he's not going to leave the field even when Andy Dalton comes back healthy. 4 injuries out of the gate for the first 2 weeks of the season, Paul.
So you look at all those backups. I mean, obviously Chicago, that's a favorable situation for them. Fields didn't play great, 6 for 13, 60 yards, a pick, 2 sacks. He ran 10 times for 31 yards. You'd expect more yardage than that. Brissett is a decent quality backup in Miami, and he played all right. Pick, 4 sacks, completed 24 of 40. That's a lot of incompletions there.
They were trailing 35-0.
Yeah, and lost, in a shutout. Mills in Houston is, inexperienced guy who's not going to do anything for you. Eason behind Wentz, you can't count on to do anything for you. And these are teams that chose not to pay a lot. In Houston, you've got a great backup who you're just choosing to deactivate. He's not a backup. He's your starter who's just out of function. Now, Ben Roethlisberger has a pec injury that surfaced today. I don't know if it's anything that has the potential to hold him out, but there are 5 starting quarterbacks in 1 week, 4 that couldn't finish a game, another that comes to the training room after the game and has something. That's a pretty devastating NFL quarterback day in a league that does its very, very best to protect quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. That's not a very encouraging thing if it turns into anything like a trend.
Is there a more devastating description of an injury that gets out publicly for any player than it's a pain tolerance issue?
That really screws the player.
That really rolls you under the bus because immediately fans will think, oh, it's just a pain tolerance issue. You can play physically, right, but you can't handle the pain.
But it might be,
that's the first thing I thought when I saw that description of Tua's injury was, and we all know that if the pain is too much, you can't physically perform.
You might not be able to breathe. At first, you have to tolerate breathing with some of these injuries to the rib area.
In such a tough guy, team-oriented sport that if you can walk, you play. And if you can give anything, you go out there and you do it for the name of your teammates in football. I can't think of a worse description for an injury getting out than pain tolerance.
And that completely goes against the we're going to protect our guy.
He couldn't walk watching the game. He was carted off.
Yeah, he was
hunched over. He could not walk.
It was bad. It was a bad hit.
Cracked or not, that he wasn't playing based on how he was moving in that game. Now, what can rest do? What can some pain tolerance also comes with painkillers. We'll see what happens this week for Miami.
And also with Wentz, I mean, we've all had a sprained ankle, and you can compensate with 1 sprained ankle. But when you have 2 sprained ankles, it's pretty damn hard. And he did some good things in that game, better than I expected. Titans are certainly, at a big advantage if Eason is playing in an AFC South battle.
It's a big advantage
down the street here this weekend.
But I think it's important to note that the Indianapolis Colts gave Jacob Eason the vast majority of the first-team reps.
Yeah, he's more ready than he
Carson
usually
Wentz
would be.
was ailing with his knee issue or foot issue, with his foot issue. Now he has sprained ankles. They gave all the reps, not all of them, the vast majority of them to Jacob Eason, and felt comfortable enough going into the season with an unknown of whether or not Wentz would even be able to play the first 2 weeks. And felt comfortable enough in Eason that he was going to be the guy. They didn't go out and trade for a vet or a young player that was a backup. They didn't go trade for Gardner Minshew, for instance, like Philadelphia did. They stuck with the guy they drafted in the 4th round. So it's not as though you have your typical Logan Woodside, who didn't receive a ton of first-team reps in camp, and now he's thrown into first-team reps in the regular season and has to play in 4 days.
And this is a Titans franchise that, A, has proved capable of losing to Curtis Painter, and B, has found all kinds of ways to lose to the Colts over the years in situations where it appeared favorable for them against the Colts, who still have a capable defense and a run game that on a given day can get you. So
more than I went back and watched the game last night, Rams and Colts, and
the Rams are very good, and the Colts were right there.
The Rams' defensive front took over the game. That's what it came down to. The Colts had a great game plan early on and should have been up 14-0 from the jump. And the Rams stopped them on 4th and goal from the 1. 4 straight runs. Well, the fourth and goal was a play action where Wentz was sacked back at the 9. But they stuffed them on that opening possession, went and got some points. And then on the second or third possession, got back within the red zone, and Wentz was picked off on a Utah pass, on a shovel pass.
Terrible decision.
So got within scoring range and got no points out of it, not even 3 on those, and it ended up losing by 3.
This was
on
a Utah
final
pass.
possession. By the way, Wentz got hurt. 24-24 was the score. Final 2 possessions, second pass attempt by Eason was picked off. I didn't like how they came out throwing with him.
That was Ramsey.
Ramsey picked it off. I didn't like the game plan with they inserted him into the lineup, and trailing by 3, they started throwing to the far side of the field sideline. Difficult throw, incomplete. And then the second pass was up the sideline into traffic deep, and that was picked off. And then they went down and got a field goal, and then they were screwed from there.
That Utah pass, it's good when it's close. The further away you get, the more likely it is to go badly, and this one was too far away. There was a lot of traffic in there. It seemed doomed from the start.
The defensive pressure from the Rams forced Carson Wentz into an almost flutie-like level of improvisation at times. The Utah pass, they got picked off, but there were 2 or 3 other times I saw where they got immediate pressure, where he's scrambling, and he's doing some pretty dumb things, trying to get rid of the ball before he gets sacked and just tossing it toward guys however he could. Flip passes, passes where he's almost horizontal to the ground, trying to flip it to a guy to get out of trouble. That's what that pressure can do.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified every time Outkick 360 goes live. We are live weekdays, 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern, right here across the Outkick network. And while you're at it, like this video and let us know what you think in the comments below.